Uh, yeah.
Good everyone, my name is Graphics. Today we want to draw development of this shape that is cylindric in nature. How then is cylindric? If you look at the base here, we have diameter 40. This shape you see that looks like a this shape you see, we call it represent diameter, right? So because of that, this shape you are seeing is cylindric, right? So the first thing you first of all do is to draw a horizontal line this way. You draw an horizontal line this way. You can see that. Then after that, the next thing you're going to do is to, if you look closely to the figure you have at the top right corner of the screen, or will I say at the left right hand side of the screen, you discover that it is inclined at an angle of what? 60 degree to the horizontal, right? Now these are horizontal here. There are two ways you can get your 60 degree. You can either use your set square when it is standing this way on your T square, right? You just move it, you choose a point. Maybe this is the point I want to choose, right? Then you move it to that point and you draw your horizontal line this way 60. You can see that. Let me make it more bold so you see, or you can use the center line to represent it. Can see that? Now it means that the angle between here and here is what? Is 60 degrees. So remember, whenever your set square is turning your T square this way, the longest side like this is what? 60 degree, like I always say. Now the next thing you do is this. You discover that from the shape we have there, the diameter is what? It is 40. Now, since I have drawn a horizontal line this way, a line this way at an angle of 60, I will ensure I will draw another line that will be cutting it at an angle of what? Of 30, because this is going 60. Anyone that is coming like it should be what? 30, so that it will form 90 degree. So I need to bend my set square this way, right? And I will move it. Since I move it this way to get 60, then the other way, I will now do it this way to be what? 30. So when it's like this, it's 30. So what I'll simply do, I'll just draw a faint line this way first of all. And I'll tell you why this faint line. I'll draw it this way first of all, right? Now I will say diameter 40. I'll take my compass, right? And I'll pick my ruler. Then I'm going to measure half of the diameter of 40, which will give us 20 radius, right? So when I place it this way, from here to here is 20, right? From here to here is 20. And I'll place it at this point here. I'll mark to the right, to the left, and also to the right, right? So it means that from this point here to this point here is 40. Now I will now take the same 60 degree and I'm going to draw my parallel line this way. Just draw it this way with my faint lines first of all. You continue using faint line until you are sure of what you want to draw. Now if you look at the shape very well at the top right corner of the screen or at the right hand side of the screen, you're going to discover that the height the height from the center, you look at my arrow here, from this point here up to this point here is given as what? As 42, right? So what I'm going to do at the side here, I'll just draw a perpendicular line this way, right? So on that perpendicular line that I measure, let me make it more visible. I'll draw a perpendicular line this way, right? So on that line I draw here, I'll now measure a distance of what? 42. And this is 42 here, right? This is what? 42 here. Now this point here, from the baseline here to this point here is 42. I'll now move my rule to that point, my set square, right? Then I'll now project it. I'll now transfer the point to this point here. Is that okay now? So at that point, this is what I have here. You can see that? This is what I have here. Now, the next thing that we are going to do, right? We now discover that at this point here, on the right hand side of the screen, you discover that from this line I draw, this horizontal line that I draw here, right? From this point, this inclined line you are seeing is at an angle of what? 45 degree. So what I'm going to do is at this point here, I'll take my 45 degrees set square, right? And this is the 45 degrees set square here, right? And I'll move it to that point. Which point? This point that I traced from here, right? And I'm going to take it and I'll draw my 45 degrees. So this is 45 degree. So since I'm very sure where I'm going to, I'll just stick in it like this because I'm very sure what I am doing here. So this is this part here, right? And the rest is that I'll just stick in it. So if you look at the diagram from this point to this point is thickened. I am going to thicken it like this, right? I'll thicken it like this. Can see that? And also from this point to this point here is also thickened. And also from this point to this point here is also thickened. Now I have replicated that figure you are seeing at the top right corner of the screen, right? Which is somewhere around here. Now what you do now is we want to develop the shape, knowing fully well that the angle between here and here is what? Is 60, right? So what I will do is, since it is cylindric, now I will now project this line this way, like this. Because what I want to do here, I'm going to project this line this way from this point. We already have it, so I'll just extend it a little more. I will extend it a little more. This is the center line here. This is the center line here. I will extend it a little more. Now, I'll just pick any point here. The main aim is to don't allow what you are drawing here. I want to draw the plan of the shape here. So don't allow what you are drawing here, right, to reflect, to touch this diagram here. I want to draw a cylinder here. I mean a circle showing from the top. So what I will do is this. I will just pick any point here. And I just draw my line this way with my rule this way, right? So I will pick any point here from this point. Then I can easily gauge it to ensure that it is touching the sides of this. You can see that. So this is what I want to just move. So I'll take this and I'll draw my circle. It will be a little bit faint. You can see that. Now I'm going to divide it into as many equal parts as I can, 12 equal parts. So if this is 1, the next one will be coming from this. I'll use my set square and I'll place it in this manner to pass through the center of this, like this. Then I'll move it to pass to the center of this, like this, right? Then I'll place it here this way to pass to the center of this. Use all the sides of that instrument. Then I'll turn it this way again. The main aim is just to divide the circle into 12. So into this, right? Now if you look at this now, we started now. Now if you look at this line, it is perpendicular to this line coming, right? So this will now be my 0. I'm going in let's say in a clockwise manner or anti-clockwise manner, anyone. This is 0, this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 3, this will be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or I'll say 6, right? I'll make this one to be 5 again. Here should be 4, here should be 3, here should be 2, here should be 1, then back to what? 0. So this is what we have here, right? Now the next thing we do, we are going to start projecting all these points upward, right? So how will I do that? With the help of what? My set square. When it's on my t square this way, right? I'll move it to point 1, right? This is 1 here. This is my point 1 here. Then I'll just come here. Let me just zoom it a little bit so you see what I'm actually talking about. So I'll move this point 1 and 1 on the same point. We move to touch up here. The next one will be 2. 2 we also move to touch up. 3 is already there. Then the next one is what? 4. 4 we move to touch up. 5. 5 is going to move to touch up. Then this is what we have here. So all these points here, this will be point 0, point 1, point 2, point 3, 4, 5, and what? 6. Similarly, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the next thing is the aim. The one of the things you do when you are drawing things like this in development, you ensure that since you've projected with 60 degree like this, then whatever you're projecting like this should be what? 30 degree. So if I place my set square this way, I'm going to be having my 30 degree this way. So if I move this in this manner, let me start from this point here, the last one here, 6. So let me bring this down. So if I bring this down, I'll have this. You can see that. So I can easily take this down a little bit. So I can just come. I'll draw this way. There's the first one. You can see that. So let's just come down a little bit. Now if I do that, I'll now take my set square. Since this is coming 30, you can see that both of them are 90 degree. I will now place it this way and ensure that I use 60 to draw the other one here. I'll tell you why. You just draw it this way. Now the reason why I'm doing this, let me make it more visible. The reason why I'm doing this is this will be my beginning. This will be point 0 because I don't want my development to touch my figure, right? And there's no crime if you allow it to touch the figure, but just give it space. So this will be 0. So I will now take my compass, right? I will now place it at this point here. I'll come to point 2 or 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, any of them I want to do. You can see it this way. You can see, or you can take 2 and 3. I'll now start from 0. We'll be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So we still have 5, 4. Let's move forward. 3, 2, 1, and what? 0. All we have. So let me just label them. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now in doing that, I'll do the same thing just like I projected the line this way. I'll come here also. I'm going to project another line from here with the same 60 degree I used. You've seen 30 degree I used, right? So that they will form 90 degree with each other. So I'll just project this from this point, take it straight down. You can see that? Let me make it more visible. Take it straight down. Now, since I use 30 like this, I'm using 30 because I projected this in what angle 60. Assuming here was 30, I'll be using 60 here. So I will now start projecting all those points. Place this on my T-square, right? I'll start projecting all those points. Starting from, let me start from point 0 here, going up. I'll go to point 1. I'll go to point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5. Then we have point 6. Then we have 7. We have 8. We have 9. And we'll just continue that way, all those points. And you project them up. You can see that? Now the next thing is all these points here that is touching the surface of this shape here, you also project them. So since I use 30 degree like this to projecting them, so I'll go to the first one, which is 0. I'll project. The next one is what? 1, which is this. The next one is what? 2, which is this. The next one, which is this. This is 3. The next one, which is this, is 4. The next one, which is this, is 5. Right? So we already have 6 here. I'll move to the next one again here. I'll project 0. I'll go to this, project 1. I'll project this, I'll project 2. Come to 3, get to 3. Come to 4, get to 4. Right? And the next one is what? 5, get to 5. Now, if you look at this very well, this is what we're expecting to get. Before I continue, let me just show you something. Pick up a piece of paper and cut it into the shape, right? And when I did that, I end up having something like this. Right? So I cut a piece of paper and I actually duplicated the shape here. You can see that? Now, if I cut it, if I should open it, development that I'm getting should be something like this. Should be like what? Like this. I hope you can see that. So let's see if we are going to get the shape. Now, if I move, first of all, since from this point to this point is thickened, I'm going to thicken all those points that I have, right? So I'm going to thicken from here to here. Since it is thickened. You can see that? I'm talking about this edge here. Is that taken? And since this edge is taken, automatically the other end is what is also taken, which is this end here. So I'm going to what? I'll taken it. Now we've actually achieved that height. Now, why would you take those two ends? If you look at it, this is point 0, it moves where 0 meets 0. This is the line of 0, and it's also point 0 also, right? So we have 0 here and also 0 here. This is another 0 here. Similarly, at the top also, point 0, point 0. So we have to join those 2 points. Now, if I move to 1, this is line 1, This line 1 is moving, and this is another line where they meet perpendicularly. That is point 1. Similarly, at the other end also, another point 1 because they are meeting here. All this line you are seeing is line 1, right? When the horizontal line 1 meets the vertical line 1, you call it point 1, right? Same thing too, this is line 2, where the horizontal line 2, right, meets the vertical line 2 is at this point here, and also at this point also, where the horizontal line 3 meets the vertical line 3. This is vertical here, and this is another vertical here, this is another point, and so on and so forth. So if you notice it is descending until it gets to the highest point, which is 6, to the lowest point, which is 6, and continue increasing again. Similarly, the same thing applies here, where the horizontal 0 meets the vertical 0 is here, where the horizontal 1 meets the vertical 1 is at this point. So this will be increasing. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and come and start decreasing. Is that okay now? So any of those two you want to achieve. Now if you look again, let's take the next one. This is 3, where the vertical line 3 meets the horizontal line 3 is at this point here, where the horizontal line 4 meets the vertical line 4 is at this point here, right? This is point 4 on line 4. So let's move forward. Now I will now use my French curve, and I'm going to join all those points together. Now we'll show you how to actually use your French curve in this video here. Now you take 3 points at a time. So if I place this French curve here, I can see that I'm actually having like 4 different points meeting together. So I'll just join this straight down to this. You can see that. Since I use this to get here automatically, if I come here also, I'll just turn it towards the left. So I'll use it since it is symmetrical. So I'll use to get this point too. So from here, I'm going to be having this. So I'll stop here. You can see that. Now since I've done that, the next thing I'll be doing will be I'm going to still look for the best fit. So if I place it here to ensure that I have at least 3 points, but luckily for me, I'm having the 4 points here, right? So from here, I'm having it this way. You can see that. So since I use this to get here, I'm going to turn it to use the other one here to get here. If I come here this way, I'm going to adjust it to that point. You see that? So let's move. Now what we have here. You can see that? So I'm done with this, then I'll come to the top here and see. So if I place it here, take at least 3 points. So I'm having this. Since I use this to get this, I can also use this to get this here. Right? I use this for this. So I'm going to use the other aspect for this to be more faster and efficient that way. Right? Then turn it this way to this point, at least 3 points. So from here I'll be having this. Can see that? Then I'll come here also. I'll be having this. So this is what we have, which is Why are this place curved? Don't forget, this is cylindric, right? Now we're having something like this. Is that taken? So this is like the base here, and this is the top here. Are we together now? So this is the development of that shape here that we have. So if you have found this video helpful, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.